The topic is a topic of growth. All of us, from the time we woke up today, probably and very, very likely thought about that topic. Now, the topic of growth, we thought about it, but perhaps we thought about growing our wealth, or our skills, or our education, or growing our children in different areas, growing our wealth. Perhaps we thought about growing our health, and we went and ate healthy and did a workout, and so on and so forth. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His kitab, in His book that He has sent down for us as a guidance, as a reminder, it starts a surah, a chapter of Quran, and He takes oath with about 10 things, 10 of His creation, 10 of His action. And He reminds us of a very straightforward promise that's related to the concept of growth. And He tells us a promise, a clear statement. And who is more truthful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He tells us that if we take care of this thing, if we grow this thing, whoever does it, young or old, male or female, black or white, Arab or non-Arab, whoever does it, he is successful or she is successful. And whoever chooses to neglect it and not grow it and not take care of it, then he or she is indeed unsuccessful and is a big loser. Let's take a look at the promises, the oath, the swearing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took in His kitab before we come to that promise. And He says, وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا طَحَاهَا وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. So these are the 10 or so oaths that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking. By the sun and its brightness, and by the moon as it follows it, and by the day as it shows up, and the night as it conceals it, and the heaven and Him, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who built it, and by the Nafs, the soul, and Him, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who perfected him in proportion. Then He showed him what is wrong for him and what is right for him. Now the promise comes. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Indeed, whoever purifies it, does the Tazkiyah of it, meaning the soul, he has indeed succeeded. And indeed, who corrupts it has indeed failed it. So that's the topic. That something to think about. Is growing my soul, is the Tazkiyah of my soul part of something that I think about from a day-to-day perspective? If I do, how do I measure it? What actions or emotions or thinking or mindset do I associate with it? How do I know if I'm growing or sinking? Something for all of us to think about. We'll share some ideas as we go along this series, and we'll start with the first principle today of fixing this affair. And then I will leave it to myself and you to think about it and have our individual plan, responsibility and accountability to make sure that we are making our effort, striving to earn this promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to be from the successful ones. So Allah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. So one who is purifying it, one who is growing it. So there is a concept of cleanliness, purification, and growth of the soul. And the one who neglects it, let it go and achieve whatever the soul desires, whatever is for our own quick gratification, without taking into account of is it good or bad in the sight of Allah, not in the sight of media, not in the sight of social media, but is it good or bad in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To emphasize again, this is something that the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam also instructed us and told us that we have a right. The soul has a right on us in the famous hadith, the part of it which says, وَإِنَّ لِنَفْسِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا, that indeed your soul has a right upon you.